I was in Arizona since last Wednesday. So I didn't end up getting back until late Tuesday night, which was much longer than I was supposed to be back by like lunchtime on Monday, but we had some hiccups. And if you go read that post I just posted, it'll tell you all of the great, nasty details about my sickness. And I'm finally like speaking out directly about what I have to go through, what I've gone through for most of my life when it comes to my health. I've never really alluded to the details, and so I just plastered them out. And it's really long because I didn't really know how to make it short, but now it's out there, so I will be able to continue to talk about it and give a little bit more, details and stuff like that. But anyway, so I am finally home, feeling a little bit back to normal, and there's that. Life throws you curveballs, y'all. You guys have heard me say this. It's never an excuse to not do shit. It's never an excuse to just sit still. But it happens. It happens to all of us. And when you guys hear me, so here's the truth, like, just to be a little blunt for a moment, when you go read that post, which I hope you guys all do, you'll understand a little bit more as to why when people try to give me excuses, I have no sympathy for that, because there are no legitimate excuses other than you've made a choice to just not do the things that you know you should be doing, because I have plenty of real reasons. You know what I'm saying? So there is no excuse other than it's just a choice that you make, and that's not an excuse, that's a reason, right? So, around the topic of mindset. So one of the things that I'll tell you, so I think you guys know, I feel that every part of our life is equally as important, but they all lean on each other. They also, demand each other to function. But one of the things that one of the things that I've realized is that none of it would happen without mindset. None of it would happen without control of your mind. And the reason is, like, you can't have a clear relationship with someone. You can't have a clear conversation with someone, and you can't express to them what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're needing, what you're wanting, if you don't know yourself. And that's where most of the issues in the world come from. I sit here and I watch TV shows, right? And I love TV. I have told you guys that before. Like, I'm not one of those entrepreneurs who's like, you should never watch TV. It's terrible for you. I'm like, fuck that. I need an escape sometimes, and that's my escape. And I love TV and I love movies, and I'll never stop watching it. Do I watch it all day long? No. Do I wish I had more time to watch it? Yes. But it is what it is. So I watch TV, and it's so funny because I'm one of those people who rewatches things, right? Like, I'll be so honest in the fact that, like, I will rewatch the same show over and over again for years, because I'm like nostalgic like that. Hold on a second. I need a big fat drink. Okay. So I'm like nostalgic like that. So I'll watch the same show over and over again. And what's so funny is the more that I grow as a human being, and the more that my self-awareness and my mindset grows. I'm going to get on here and check. I feel like I'm not getting your guys' messages or your comments today for some reason, because I know Emily is usually my commenter, and I don't see that happening. So, anyway, so the deeper I get, like, here's a great example. So some of the shows that you've had, like, your whole life or whatever, you've watched your whole life, if you rewatch them when you have a different level of self-awareness, it's like ridiculously fucked up, honestly. Because the fact of the matter is it's like the communication levels on these things that we're fed our entire lives, like the characters in those movies, the characters in those shows, they don't fucking communicate, which is what causes all of the stress, all of the drama, all of the problems that they're having. And it's like, holy shit. No wonder as a community and as like a nation or whatever, we're so fucking bad at communicating, because we don't even know what we're feeling ourselves. We don't take the time to look inside of our own brains to learn what we're thinking and pay attention to that anyway. But then, like, we're literally fed all of these stories and all of these shows that are great, right? And they might make you feel real good inside. And like I said, I love TV, so like I am not bashing any of that, but like we're literally fed our entire lives to hold that shit in and not communicate with your partner and be scared. And like the thing that keeps popping in my head is, this is going to sound so silly, but like Gilmore Girls was the first time I ever recognized it. I rewatched the Gilmore Girls, which I love. And like I said, I will rewatch a show and like a whole series a million times. But like one of the things that popped into my head when I was watching that was like, holy fuck, like if Luke and Lorelai would just communicate and be honest with each other, like even just a little bit, the whole world would be a different place, right? Now, granted, that's not what they're going for. The storyline needs to be dramatic and da-da-da. But like, this is what we're being fed. So why would we think in our real life, and if you really truly think that you can watch these shows and these TV shows and these things and think that it's not affecting you and the way that you communicate and the way that you operate in life, like you're sadly mistaken, because it is. This helps us program. Like the book that is written in our brains of how we're supposed to operate is fed to us from the things that we consume, the people we're surrounded with. So that does include TV and movies. So when I look at that, and then I've literally noticed it in almost every movie I watch and almost every TV show I watch, I'm like, what the fuck? Like all of the problems that you watch them, you know, the turmoil and the anger and the stress and the struggle and the fear and the sadness, all of those bad feelings come from lack of communication, come from lack of knowing self, right? Lack of looking in your own face and saying, why do I feel these feelings in the first place? Instead, we just go with it and we just don't say anything and we're just super scared, or we play the fucking games, right? When you're in a new relationship, like I gotta wait 15 minutes to reply to him because what if I look too eager? Fuck that. Are you kidding? Like what is this? You know, like where did that even come from? And then, you know, so many marriages and all these things. So the reason this is coming up, and I didn't mean for it to take this spin into the TV shows, quite honestly, but that's just kind of where it went. Brings us back to the mindset. So it is literally the root of how you operate in every area of your life. If you are not spending time clearing the capacity inside of your brain, looking at why you feel things the way you do, the way you operate, the way you're like how or why you operate the way that you do, blah, 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 blah. If you're not looking that shit in the face, I can guarantee you're not mastering all of the areas of your life. You're literally holding yourself back. And it sucks because so many people will go through their entire lives doing that. Can I get some comments if this makes sense to you, like what I was just talking about with the TV, or do I sound completely crazy? Because I feel like it makes perfect sense. But again, I am in my own head. So let me know what you guys are thinking about that. I'd love to know what you think, comments, whatever may come up for you around that conversation. And if like that was like a mind, because for me, like that's like a mind-blowing epiphany when you think about, because so many people are like, why are we so fucked up? Like why collectively as a society are we so bad at communicating? And it's like, well, no fucking wonder why we're bad at communicating, because for entertainment purposes, we've been fed books, movies, TV shows full of bad communication, full of bad examples of relationships. I shared a meme the other night or last night on Instagram. Let's see if I can find it. I don't know if you can look at your stories on Instagram on the computer. I'm failing at my water intake today, y'all. Oh, you can. Fuck yeah. I want to read this to you. Anyway, so I'll see if I can get that to pull up. But anyways, is this going to let me see comments? I don't know if it's going to let me see comments because my computer hates me. Yeah, I legit have to refresh my fucking screen. It's not my computer, it's Facebook. Merp. Anyway, so back to the conversation. Lots of hand motions today, guys. So your mindset and the way that you think about things can literally be what sets you free, what creates your reality, what creates what you want, but it can also be your demise. It can also be what stops you from moving forward. Okay, cool. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate the feedback. It can truly be what stops you from moving forward. It can be the self-sabotage that can literally knock you down 18 pegs in like less than 5 seconds if you let it. We've all been there. How many times do you have the most negative self-talk? You just can't like even help yourself. You're like, holy fuck, how is this even a thing? Like, how am I even thinking this way? Or how did I even get to this place? I'll give you a prime example, guys. Like this weekend, I was at an event with a bunch of people that I know very well. Some people I've just met for the first time, but most of them I've known for a really long time. And I had this little moment where I like created this scenario in my head that wasn't even fucking happening in front of me, and it pissed me off for like a hot second. I was like an 18-year-old girl, like feeling jealousy and feeling this like odd feelings. And like, think about this in those moments. And I had no right to feel that way. Like let's just be quite frank. It involved a man. Okay. Let's just be real honest. It involved a man. And so naturally, like that's a natural feeling for sometimes, you know, and him and I are not together. So like I had no right to feel that way, but I felt that way in the moment. And so like a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have never fucking addressed it. I would have sat there like turmoiling, right? In my brain, like what is going on behind my back? Like, what is happening that I'm not aware of? Because we're all fucking crazy. And that's where our brain works, especially women. Guys, I don't know if your brains do this, but ladies, our brains do this and you know it. And in that moment, I was like, no. Like literally it lasted for like, I'd say maybe a minute. Maybe it lasted for a minute. And literally in the middle of a pool party, I looked at this person in the face in the middle of conversation. I had like zoned for a minute and my brain was going there. And I just looked at him like, what are you doing? He was like, what? And I just said what I needed to say and express like my own insecurity in that moment. And it was completely incorrect. He wasn't aware of what he was doing, blah, blah, blah. And it was squashed. And I went on with my life, right? But like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with being so, and this has nothing to do with a man or the relationship. This just has to do with like being fucking aware of your own thoughts and not allowing them to be your demise. I could have allowed that to ruin my whole rest of the day. How many times have you done that? Can I get some likes? Because you know you have. Like every single one of us has had those moments where we've allowed one thought to become ugly. And then it becomes uglier and uglier and uglier and uglier. And it's like the fucking plague. Like, have you ever seen the movie Snow White and the Huntsman when like all the blackness like takes her over? Like that's the shit that will happen. Picture that in your brain every time you have self-doubt thoughts, because that's exactly what it is. And you think in your brain, you're like, holy crap, am I fucking losing my mind? No, you're not losing your mind. You're normal. But if you have control over your own thoughts and you're self-aware, then speak that shit in the moment. Because guess what? You're going to make it worse than it ever would be if you just said it out loud. Because guess what happened? I said it out loud. He understood what I was getting at. Maybe he was doing it. Maybe he wasn't. I don't fucking know. It doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant. But it didn't happen anymore. I felt good. He felt good. My friend who I thought was involved was no longer involved. And everything was fine. But what would the majority of the population do? They'd let that darkness and that blackness take them over. It'd ruin their day. They'd be snarky. They'd be passive aggressive without even realizing they were doing it. At the end of the day, they'd be like, what's wrong with me? Like, why did this even happen? I made this up in my head. It was those fucking assumptions. And granted, sometimes those things are real. Sometimes what we think is happening. But what if you just said it in the moment and you uncovered it in the moment instead of torturing yourself because you refuse to just address the situation? You refuse to just stand up and say something. Is it easy? Fuck no. Is it scary? Abso-fucking-lutely it's scary. But guys, it's real life. I am on one today. Holy shit. Woo! I didn't expect this to come out of me, but here it is. Woo! Oh, I almost just ripped my earplugs out. Whew. So there's that. Your mindset in the book of business that you have, and I don't like the book of business, isn't the proper word, but the book of knowledge, the book of reference, your subconscious basically is what I'm referring to as this big gigantic book. I picture like, do you ever watch Charmed or like Harry Potter and they have these big spell books, right? Like that's what I picture in my mind as my book. I'm rewriting my book of subconscious. That's what I picture as this gigantic, big, fucking heavy ass, old, awesome looking book. And I go in and I look at these past pages and I'm like, whoa, bitch, you're crazy. Like, no. You got to rewrite that. Erase, rewrite. So that's what I mean. If you're not aware of your own thoughts, all of these things will take over in a negative fashion. But what if, okay, let's flip this. What if they could take over and create power and create purpose and create clarity and strength and focus? What if? Sounds pretty great, right? So what if you rewrite that book to give you power, focus, strength, ability? What if that's what you did? Because it's possible, guys. That's the fucking key. Like, y'all want the magic pill. Like, everybody wants the magic pill. We know it doesn't exist in Operation Do because we do the fucking work here. And we know that there's no pill. Although we still, in the back of our mind, wish there was a pill, though. Like, let's be real. We wish there was, like, a magic vitamin I could send to everyone and we could take it every day and we'd have everything figured out. This is the closest to that you're going to get. Is paying attention to your thoughts, your emotions, your, like, reactions. All of the things that are going on in your brain are the most important place for you to place your attention. Like, that is the closest to a magic pill that I can give you. So, the next question. Let me open this fucking thing. The next question, right? Well, how do I do that? Jamie, this sounds fucking great. You got me. I'm hooked. I'm listening. Well, how do I do that? You have to commit to doing it every single day. There's the other thing. You have to commit to looking inside of your own thoughts multiple times throughout the day, in the moment, allowing yourself to understand. Here's the biggest thing. You need to give yourself permission to think before you speak. Oh, y'all have been posting comments and this bitch is not showing it to me. Damn it. I noticed that stuff too when I watch TV. All the problems, plots will be solved in 5 minutes if people communicated. Yes, Euresis. Amen, sister. Because holy shit, I'm like screaming at the TV like, Luke, just tell her about your daughter. She wouldn't even care. Like, oh, it's so frustrating.